In moments like this, a nation holds its breath. The passing of Muhammadu Buhari, Nigeria's former president and one of its most recognizable leaders, has sent shockwaves across the country and around the world. For decades, Buhari was a defining figure in Nigerian politics. Some saw him as a symbol of integrity and discipline, a man determined to fight corruption and restore national pride. Others remember him as a controversial leader whose policies divided opinion and sparked heated debate. How did a young man from Dara rise to become Nigeria's head of state, not once, but twice? First as a military ruler, then as a democratically elected president. What choices shaped his legacy? And what moment will history remember most? And in this time of national reflection, what lessons can Nigeria and the world draw from Buhari's years in power? As tributes pour in from leaders, citizens, and international voices, one thing is certain: Muhammadu Buhari's impact on Nigeria is both undeniable and deeply complex. His life's journey was marked by ambition, setbacks, triumphs, and controversy. A story that, for better or worse, helped define modern Nigeria. This is more than a moment of mourning. It's a chance to examine the man, the leader, and the legacy he leaves behind. Muhammadu Buhari was born in 1942 in the small town of Daura in northern Nigeria. Raised in a large family, his early years were shaped by tradition, discipline, and the values of his Fulani heritage. Buhari attended Katsina Provincial Secondary School, where he was known for his quiet determination and academic promise. But it was a call to serve that set his life on a unique course. In 1961, at just 19, Buhari joined the Nigerian army, a decision that would shape his destiny and the country's history. He quickly distinguished himself as a disciplined and resolute soldier, rising through the ranks during a period of intense change for Nigeria. He saw the nation through its most turbulent years, serving with distinction during the Nigerian Civil War and earning a reputation for his commitment to order and national unity. By the late 1970s, Buhari had become a familiar name in military and political circles. His role as a military governor, then as Minister of Petroleum, put him at the heart of Nigeria's evolving economy. Colleagues noted his directness and intolerance for corruption, qualities that would later define his leadership style. These early experiences set the stage for Buhari's first dramatic rise to power. Muhammadu Buhari's journey to Nigeria's highest office was unlike any other. He first took power in December 1983, following a military coup that ousted a civilian government accused of widespread corruption and economic mismanagement. As head of state, Buhari promised to restore discipline and rebuild national confidence. His government launched a sweeping anti-corruption campaign, targeting officials and business leaders suspected of graft. For many Nigerians, this effort were a welcome change from the excesses of the past. However, Buhari's leadership style was strict and uncompromising. His war against indiscipline brought new rules to daily life. Queues became orderly, tardiness was punished, and public officials were held to new standards. While some praised the return of order, others criticized the regime for heavy-handed tactics and restrictions on free speech. In August 1985, Buhari's government was overthrown in another coup, ending his brief but memorable rule. For years, Buhari remained a powerful voice from the sidelines, gradually reinventing himself as a Democrat. In 2003, 2007, and 2011, he ran for president and lost. But each campaign drew more supporters, especially among young Nigerians tired of business as usual politics. By 2015, a broad coalition of parties and citizens united behind Buhari, who promised to defeat Boko Haram, revive the economy, and fight corruption with zero tolerance. His victory in 2015 marked Nigeria's first democratic transition of power from one party to another. Buhari's administration launched high-profile investigations into government fraud, recovered stolen assets, and implemented the Treasury single account to boost transparency. On the security front, his government pushed back Boko Haram from key territories, but the insurgency persisted, and new threats like banditry and kidnappings tested national resilience. Economically, Buhari inherited a troubled landscape. Oil prices crashed, the naira weakened, and millions faced unemployment. He introduced policies to support local agriculture and industry, aiming to reduce Nigeria's reliance on import. Some praised this effort for boosting local production, while critics argued that they worsened the inflation and limited growth. Healthcare and education reforms struggled to keep pace with a rapidly growing population. Buhari was re-elected in 2019, but his second term was marked by protest and economic frustration. The EndSARS movement, calling for police reform, erupted nationwide. Buhari's government responded with promises of change, but many young Nigerians felt unheard. Still, supporters credit Buhari with restoring a sense of integrity to the presidency and promoting the Made in Nigeria spirit. His presidency will be remembered for its bold ambition, hard choices, and the persistent challenge of turning vision into reality. Muhammadu Buhari's time in power was never free from controversy. Throughout his leadership, both as military ruler and elected president, critics questioned his method and the outcomes of his policies. During his first tenure in the 1980s, his government war on indiscipline and corruption was marked by mass arrests, military tribunals, and press restrictions. Journalists and activists often found themselves targeted, leading human rights groups to condemn his regime, harsh tactics, and lack of due process. When Buhari returned as a civilian president, hopes were high for a more open and democratic approach. However, allegations of selective anti-corruption enforcement soon emerged. Critics argued that some political allies appeared immune from prosecution, raising concerns about fairness and the real motives behind high-profile investigations. At the same time, Nigeria's security challenges escalated. While Boko Haram's influence was pushed back in certain regions, new threats like rural banditry, kidnapping, and communal violence became more prominent, fueling criticism of the government's response. One of the most defining moments of Buhari's presidency came in 2020, when the EndSARS movement erupted nationwide. Young Nigerians demanded an end to police brutality and deeper government reforms. The government's response, initial promises of reform, followed by crackdowns on protesters, sparked outrage at home and abroad. The event at Lekki Tollgate became a global symbol of the struggle for justice and accountability in Nigeria. Economic decisions were also hotly debated. Currency restrictions, border closures, and fuel subsidy removals affected everyday life. With some policies praised for promoting local industry, while others were blamed for inflation and hardship. Critics accused Buhari's administration of being slow to adapt and resistant to criticism. In the end, Buhari's leadership style, resolute but often uncompromising, divided public opinion. For every supporter who saw him as a principled reformer, there were detractors who saw missed opportunities and unaddressed grievances. What will Nigeria and the world remember about Muhammadu Buhari? His legacy is complex, woven from moments of bold ambition, controversy, and lasting change. Supporters often point to his unwavering fight against corruption. For many, Buhari restored a sense of discipline to public office and sent a strong message that no one, regardless of status, was above the law. His Treasury single account policy helped recover billions in public funds, and he championed initiatives to promote Made in Nigeria industries, aiming to empower local businesses and reduce dependence on foreign imports. Buhari's focus on agriculture saw new investment and a push for food self-sufficiency, sparking optimism in rural communities. Infrastructure projects, roads, railways, and power were launched with the hope of modernizing Nigeria and unlocking economic potential. In international affairs, Buhari positioned Nigeria as a regional powerhouse, strengthening ties with neighbors and global partners. His diplomatic efforts in the fight against terrorism and regional insecurity earned him respect across Africa and among global leaders. Buhari was seen as a stabilizing force at times of crisis, using his military background to project authority and reassure anxious citizens. But his legacy is also marked by criticism and missed opportunities. Many Nigerians feel that his government's economic policies fail to deliver jobs and real growth for ordinary people. The harsh realities of inflation, unemployment, and poverty remain pressing concerns. For young Nigerians, the memory of EndSARS and the quest for justice still lingers, a reminder that progress is an ongoing struggle. Historians will debate whether Buhari's uncompromising style achieved real transformation or simply reshuffled old problems. Yet, even his harshest critics acknowledge the scale of his influence. He changed the conversation about accountability, integrity, and what is possible in Nigeria public life. In the end, Buhari's true impact may only become clearer with time. As Nigeria moves forward, his story will remain a touchstone, fueling debate, shaping aspirations, and challenging future leaders to build a nation worthy of its people's hopes. As Nigerians reflect on the life and legacy of Muhammadu Buhari, the conversation continues. How will his story shape the country's next chapter? For more thoughtful documentaries and national stories, subscribe to Tide's YouTube channel and join the discussion by liking and sharing this video.